In 2018, you could buy a clean Porsche 964 for $45,000. Today, that same car sells for over $90,000. Some models have tripled. A few have gone up fivefold. This is not a car video. This is an investor briefing. Air-cooled Porsches, built between 1948 and 1998, have quietly become one of the strongest performing tangible asset classes of the last decade. As a category, air-cooled Porsche values are up roughly 8.6% over the most recent 3-year tracking period. Specific models have appreciated 20%, 40%, even 50% in that same window. And the fundamentals driving those returns are only getting stronger. Today, we're ranking the 10 best air-cooled Porsches to buy right now, explain why this market is moving, and show you the grail-level cars that sit at the very top of the pyramid. Why air-cooled Porsches today, you might ask? Here are the fundamentals for our investment thesis, the 4 structural forces pushing this market. Fixed supply, shrinking inventory. Porsche stopped making air-cooled 911s in 1998. Every car that gets wrecked, hoarded, or exported tightens the available pool. There will never be another one built. The denominator only goes down. The analog premium. Porsche just added hybrid powertrains to the 992 generation GTS. The manual transmission is nearly extinct in the current lineup. Every new model year makes the old cars feel more special by comparison. Collectors and drivers are paying a measurable premium for the tactile mechanical experience that only these cars deliver. This is a trend that accelerates, not fades. Generational wealth transfer. The buyers entering the collector car market today are in their 30s and 40s. They grew up with these cars on their walls. They have liquidity. They want tangible assets. And air-cooled Porsches sit at the intersection of passion and portfolio. This buyer base is expanding, not contracting. Porsche is a top 5 luxury brand globally. Unlike niche marques, Porsche carries universal recognition and deep cultural cachet. That brand equity acts as a floor under values. Even when the broader collector car market softens, Porsche tends to hold. The Porsche Club of America's market data confirms this. While the general collector car market gave back its COVID-era gains by late 2025, Porsche prices have been notably more reluctant to decline. In some sectors, they're still climbing. And now let's move on to the tier list. Top 10 air-cooled Porsches to buy now. Number 1, 993 GT2, 1995 to 1998, S tier. Price range, $800,000 to $2.2 million. This is the undisputed king. Porsche built only 194 GT2s across the entire 993 generation, 161 street cars, 33 Club Sport editions. It was a rear-wheel drive, twin-turbocharged weapon built to meet GT2 racing homologation rules. A 1996 GT2 with 26,000 miles sold for $2.18 million in mid-2025. The average sale price on the open market now sits near $990,000. These are museum-grade assets. If you can source one, you hold it. Number 2, 993. Turbo S, 1997 to 1998, S tier. Price range, $600,000 to $1 million plus. The Turbo S was the final statement of the air-cooled era. Only 183 were allocated to North America. It made 440 horsepower when that number meant something entirely different than it does today. A near-new example with under 100 miles sold for $2.4 million earlier this year. At Monterey 2025, a Speed Yellow Turbo S with 4,000 miles brought $786,000. These are approaching 7-figure status as a baseline. The trajectory is clear. Number 3, 964 Carrera RS, 1992, A tier. Price range $250,000 to $400,000. The 964 RS is the lightweight, stripped-out homologation model that Porsche never officially sold in the US. It dropped roughly 150 pounds from the standard Carrera, received a blueprinted engine, and deleted creature comforts. Now that 25-year import rules have opened the door, clean examples are landing stateside and getting snapped up immediately. A pristine RS recently brought over $300,000 at auction. Limited production, racing pedigree, increasing US demand. This one checks every box. Number 4, 930 Turbo 3.3, 1978 to 1989. A tier. Price range $100,000 to $220,000. The Whale Tail. The Widowmaker. The car that defined the 1980s for an entire generation of enthusiasts. The 930 Turbo is arguably the single most iconic silhouette in Porsche's history. Clean examples with desirable 5-speed gearboxes push toward $200,000. Even well-kept standard 4-speeds are now comfortably 6 figures. The 930 benefits from massive cultural recognition and relatively accessible pricing compared to the 993 Halo cars above it. This is a blue-chip asset with strong upside. Number 5, 993 Carrera S, 1997 to 1998. A tier. Price range $100,000 to $180,000. The Carrera S gave you the wide turbo body with a naturally aspirated engine. It's the best-looking standard 993, and it's the one most collectors display. Manual coupe examples in good color combinations are pushing past $150,000 now. As the last air-cooled generation continues to appreciate, the Carrera S is positioned right in the sweet spot, prestigious enough to command attention, accessible enough that you can still source one without a 7-figure commitment. Number 6, 993 Carrera 4S, 1996 to 1998. A tier. Price range $120,000 to $200,000. Same wide body look as the Carrera S, but with all-wheel drive. The 4S has historically traded at a slight premium due to its rarity and all-weather usability. Prices have climbed steadily. For an investor who also wants to drive the asset, and in this market, driving actually preserves the narrative around the car, the 4S is an excellent dual-purpose holding. Number 7, 964 Carrera 2 Coupe, 1990 to 1994, B tier. Price range $60,000 to $100,000. The 964 is where most smart money enters the air-cooled market right now. It delivers roughly 80% of the 993 driving experience at 50 to 60% of the cost. Manual coupes in solid colors are the play. The 964 was the first 911 with ABS, power steering, and a modern interior, making it genuinely livable. This is the value tier with the widest runway for growth. Number 8, 911 SC Coupe, 1978 to 1983, B tier. Price range $40,000 to $75,000. The SC is the entry point into air-cooled 911 ownership, and it's a smart one. These cars are mechanically bulletproof. Porsche's own engineers have called the SC the most reliable 911 ever made. Impact bumpers, a 3.0-liter flat 6, and a pure analog experience at a price point that's still accessible. G-Body 911S as a category are up over 22% in the most recent 3-year period. The SC is catching a rising tide. Number 9, 993. Carrera Coupe, 1995 to 1998. B tier. Price range, $80,000 to $140,000. The base 993 Carrera is the gateway to the last air-cooled generation. A 6-speed manual coupe is the configuration to target. Expect to pay north of $100,000 for a well-sorted example. The 993 benefits from the strongest brand premium in the air-cooled market. It was the most refined, the best handling, and the last of its kind. Even the base model carries that narrative weight. Number 10, Long Hood 911 T/E 1969 to 1973, B tier. Price range, $70,000 to $130,000. The early Long Hood 911s are the original article, chrome trim, external oil filler, the classic proportions that launched a dynasty. The 911T was the entry-level variant, and the E sat in the middle of the range. These cars are up over 11% in the recent tracking period, and they carry enormous visual and historical appeal. Mint condition examples with matching numbers push well into 6 figures. For collectors who value provenance and heritage above all else, this is the tier, the Grail's unicorn-level assets. Above the tier list, there's another level. These are the cars that don't come to market on a schedule. They surface once every few years, trade privately, and reset the ceiling for the entire category. Number 11, 993, GT2 Evo. Porsche's factory race evolution of the GT2. Approximately 11 built, power output north of 600 horsepower. These essentially do not trade publicly. When they do, the numbers are staggering. If one appears, you act immediately, or you lose it for a decade. Number 12, 964, Carrera RS 3.8. Only 55 produced. This was Porsche's lightweight race-derived 964 with a bored-out 3.8-liter engine and aggressive aero. Rarely seen at public auction. When they do surface, they command premiums far above the standard RS, often exceeding $500,000. Number 13, 911 2.7 Carrera RS 1973. The original RS, widely considered the most important 911 ever made. The lightweight version, of which only 200 were built, routinely trades between $800,000 and $1.5 million. Sport and touring variants are slightly more accessible, but still deep into 6 figures. This is the car that started the entire RS lineage. It's the Porsche equivalent of first edition blue chip art. The final 993, Chassis Zero. The very last air-cooled 911 to leave the Stuttgart factory. One exists. It has surfaced for sale at £1.3 million. Owning the literal final chapter of a 5-decade production era, that's not just a car. That's a piece of industrial history. Here's the bottom line. Air-cooled Porsches are not speculative. They're a proven asset class with a half-century track record, finite supply, expanding demand, and a brand moat that most investments would kill for. The entry point starts around $40,000 for an SC. The sweet spot is $60,000 to $150,000 in the 964 and 993 Carrera range. The upside extends into the millions for grail-tier cars. The window to buy at current prices is not permanent. Every year, fewer clean examples exist. Every new hybrid Porsche makes the old ones more desirable. Every young collector who enters the market adds demand to a supply that only shrinks. If you've been watching this market, it's time to move. If you're new to it, you now know exactly where to start. See you soon.